Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, top of the hour, and we have breaking news out of Rome this morning. NBC News has learned that Pope Francis, head of the Catholic Church and spiritual leader to more than 1 billion Catholics worldwide, has passed away at the age of 88. His death was announced by the Vatican just a couple hours ago, saying in part, quote, "At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father," adding he taught us to live the values of the gospel with faithfulness, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and the marginalized. Now, the pontiff spent much of the past couple months in a Rome hospital battling a severe case of pneumonia. Francis rose to Catholicism's pinnacle more than a decade ago, back in 2013, following the surprise resignation of his predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI. He leaves behind a legacy as a transformational leader, shaking up the church's conservative teachings, leaning instead on more diverse, progressive values. We will bring you reaction from Vatican City, here in America and across the globe this morning, as the world's Catholics celebrate the Holy Father's life, while we look ahead as well to his replacement. NBC's Mark Barger has more.
Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio
Buonasera.
was elected Pope when Pope Benedict abruptly resigned in 2013. Bergoglio chose the name Francis after St. Francis of Assisi, known for his poverty and humility. Francis was the first pope to come from Latin America and the first to take the name Francis. In his opening appearance as pope, he asked that people pray for him. Francis became the leader of an estimated 1.2 billion Roman Catholics at a time of a number of conflicts for the church: a sex abuse scandal, a financial scandal in the Vatican Bank, and conflicts over the issues of abortion, homosexuality, and the role of women in the church. Within days of beginning his papacy, Francis made choices that revealed he would be a different kind of pope. He shunned the regal garments and trappings of previous popes. He paid his own hotel bill in person, and he chose to live in a modest apartment instead of the lavish papal residence. It was clear from the start that Francis loved interacting. He kissed children, wore hats from the crowd, and posed for pictures.
Don't get tired of bringing the mercy of the Father to the poor, the sick, the abandoned.
Within the first year of his papacy, he apologized to victims of sexual abuse by priests and set up a committee that included laypeople to investigate sex crimes by priests. The wave of sexual abuse scandals within the church proved to be the greatest crisis of Francis' tenure. In 2015, he was criticized for supporting a Chilean bishop who was accused of covering up sex crimes against minors. Francis later admitted mishandling the situation and asked for forgiveness. Another abuse bombshell rocked the Catholic Church in 2018. A scathing grand jury report detailed decades of sexual abuses by priests in Pennsylvania.
Holy Father knows this is very serious. Holy Father knows this can shake the faith of the people in the pews.
The Vatican condemned the abuse as criminally and morally reprehensible and said Pope Francis was on the side of the victims. Through it all, Francis maintained his reputation as a reformer. He set up a hand-picked committee of 8 cardinals to discuss reforming the Vatican bureaucracy. He made headlines for his apparent acceptance of homosexuality and for warning about the dangers of climate change. Pope Francis also played a key role in the talks to restore full diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Cuba in 2014. He also spoke frequently about the importance of women in the Catholic Church and changed the Church's stance on the death penalty, declaring it unacceptable in all cases. Having had part of one lung removed as a young man, Francis had long battled health problems, especially bouts of acute bronchitis in winter. In recent years, he had been using a wheelchair, walker, or cane when moving around his apartment. Mark Barger, NBC News.
Well, for more on the life and legacy of Pope Francis, let's bring in Kathleen Sprose-Cummings. She's a professor of history and American studies at the University of Notre Dame and the director of the Cushwa Center for the Study of American Catholicism. Also the author of the book, A Saint of Our Own, How the Quest for a Holy Hero Helped Catholics Become American. Kathleen, Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on this Easter Monday and on a day where, of all days, we have this particular news. We, of course, know Pope Francis was battling pneumonia for weeks. We had been following that when he was in hospital. Of course, he's released. And then we saw him wishing thousands of worshipers a happy Easter yesterday from St. Peter's Square, riding in his Pope mobile. So I think in some ways, some people felt surprised just because we saw him, you know, looking, I would say frail still, but well considering. And then his death happens sort of overnight in the early hours this morning. Do you think that for the church, this is a surprise, given the fact that it had seemed he had moved in a positive direction with his health? Or is this a possibility that they were ready and preparing for?
It's both. Catholics throughout the world are waking up to grief and also to surprise. Yes, in one way, it wasn't a surprise. He was 88. He was in frail health. He had a rough couple of months, but it did seem that he had rallied, and we know that he's strong and we know that he's determined. I do think it's beautifully fitting that he died on Easter Monday, in the season of the resurrection. He was a joyful disciple and he went home to God in this season of rejoicing. So while there's sorrow, I think it's wonderfully poignant, the timing.
I think also for people who know him or feel like they know him or just know sort of his demeanor, the way he is, it almost seems fitting that his last day would have been spent among so many people and on such a special day. Do you agree?
I agree, absolutely. I think it was so special the way he visited the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore last Sunday or on the eve of Palm Sunday and Holy Week. That is where he'll be buried. I think Pope Francis himself knew, and as is consistent with his personality, he didn't want a big deal to be made out of it. There was no massive vigil as there was outside of Gemelli Hospital earlier this year, a few weeks ago. And I think he slipped away on the greatest day in the Christian calendar.
And what was the sentiment behind his final message to the public yesterday?
Always consistent with what he always says, that he's with them, he's praying for them, and he's been their spiritual leader who loves nothing more than to be close to the people. So it's wonderful that he made that address yesterday.
I think a lot of ways, right, his legacy is a unique one. He was born in Argentina. He's the first Latin American pontiff in history. We mentioned some of the ways that he leaned a little bit more progressive rather than conservative and really brought so many people into the fold, extended love, extended mercy, extended really just attention to so many different marginalized groups. Tell us more about those types of things that he will be remembered for, ways he shook up the Catholic Church.
The speech that got him elected to the papacy is one that he gave before the General Congregation, before the conclave in March of 2013. And he talked about a passage from Revelation where Jesus is knocking. And he said, obviously, Jesus is knocking to get in. But what if Jesus is knocking from inside the church to get out into the world? And then Archbishop Bergoglio talked about a church that needed to get out, to go to the farthest corners of the world, to go to the peripheries. And he signaled what his papacy would be. That's what the other cardinals decided was needed. And he was elected, and he took the church out to the margins, took it out in ways that were really unprecedented. And as you said, mercy was a keynote of his papacy, his papal motto, and something he emphasized always.
When someone asks you to tell them about Pope Francis, what's the one story that you are going to tell?
I think I'd start with his visit to Lampedusa, his first visit outside the Vatican, where he wanted to be with the migrants, to be in solidarity with migrants. Pope Francis's story is tied up in migration, in his own family history. He was always close to the migrant story, and he really made concern and care for the migrants the hallmark of his papacy. So I think back to that first papal visit. He had so many visits throughout his papacy, particularly the one here in September 2015, which was a marvelous moment for the church in the United States. And he emphasized that he wanted to be close to the people always. And And I think that his care for migrants is something that is going to remain as one of his most enduring legacies.
And at a time where that is certainly a poignant message. If we could look ahead a little bit, first, just remind us this process of choosing a successor, what a conclave looks like. Tell us a little bit about what we'll see unfold and when.
Well, it's really interesting. In 2013, we had a conclave that was not preceded by a papal funeral. And then just a few years ago, we had a papal funeral for Pope Benedict that was not followed by a conclave. So this is the first time since 2005 we go back to the traditional sequence, which is the death of a pope, a period of mourning, and then the opening of a conclave. So the last 20 years have been a bit different in this respect. So the church is entering a period of mourning. It's called a period of sede vacante. The seat of Peter is vacant. The Cardinal Camerlingo, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, is basically running things during this period. There will be a papal funeral probably within 4 to 6 days. I don't think it's been announced yet. The Dean of the College of Cardinals will preside at that funeral. There'll be a 9-day period of mourning. And then, yes, cardinals from all over the world are making their way to Rome soon, have probably already started. There are 135 electors, which are the cardinals who are under the age of 80. So they're eligible to participate in the conclave itself. But all cardinals are eligible to participate in what's called the general congregations, which precede the conclave. And that's where Pope Francis gave his historic speech just a few days before the March 2013 conclave. And that's when cardinals will be talking about what the church needs. They'll be getting to know each other in many cases. Cardinals who spend a lot of time in Rome know each other well, but cardinals from around the world wouldn't necessarily, particularly some of the cardinals that Pope Francis appointed from more far-flung places from the peripheries. So that'll be happening too. But right now, the focus is on mourning the Pope and praying for him. Catholics will be praying for him throughout the world. We have a stage to get through before we consider who's next.
Absolutely. Professor Kathleen Sprouse-Cummings, thank you very much for sharing your expertise and your time with us on an important morning with this breaking news. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We are going to now switch to our other big story this morning, and that is these deadly storms that are sweeping across the midsection of the country. In Nebraska, golf ball-sized hail pelted homes and cars, shredding them apart before a tornado touched down near Omaha. And then meanwhile, in Parker County, that's in Texas, and it's just west of Fort Worth, major cleanup efforts are underway after several reported tornadoes touched down in that area. And in Arkansas, storms throughout the weekend caused severe flooding and downed power lines throughout the state. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra has been following the storms all weekend, and she joins us now. She is in Oklahoma with the latest. Marissa, good morning. Thanks for being with us. So this part of Oklahoma that you're in, it's no stranger, we understand, to strong storms, but give us an idea of what things look like there this morning, putting it in context for us.
Hey, Savannah, good to be with you. So we know that there was severe flash flooding in Moore, Oklahoma, that is just south of Oklahoma City. And unfortunately, a 12-year-old boy and his mother were confirmed dead. We did just get that confirmation overnight. But here, we're about an hour and a half outside of Oklahoma City. This is Ada, Oklahoma. You can see some of the damage around me. These are sheds. These are not homes, to be clear. But, you know, the damage is significant when it comes to this little stretch here in Ada, Oklahoma. In the next hour, Savannah, we did a bunch of interviews with people who work at the hotel that's right next to us, and hopefully in the next hour we can kind of bring you some of the voices that we learned. But, you know, just devastating, of course, for people around here. We know one person did die just about an hour north of us, but there's a hotel that I'm looking at on the other side of the camera that an hour from now you will get a chance to see and hear the stories of the people who were inside. One man described to me the feeling of taking cover inside of his bathtub when he heard the tornado sirens, feeling the house or the hotel room, rather, shaking around him. So a lot of voices and images that we're, of course, eager to bring to you. It's a little difficult, of course, to show you because it's still dark out here in Oklahoma at this hour. But, you know, a lot of people still reeling from that across the region, not just here in Oklahoma. You mentioned Arkansas, Texas. There was severe weather, not just on Easter Sunday, but just across the weekend. Multiple reported tornadoes, tornadoes that are still working to be confirmed. That, of course, we'll show you in our fuller story about an hour from now, Savannah.
All right. Yes, Marissa Parra, we'll speak with you soon. Please stay safe. Thank you for that. Well, let's get a closer look at the stormy conditions and what's expected to continue this week with your Morning News Now weather. We have Michelle Grossman here in studio with us. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, great to see you. And the good news is we're seeing that threat diminishing today. So today will be better than it has been the past few days. We are tracking a few thunderstorms, but we're not expecting severe, outbreak as we go throughout this Monday. We're going to see a threat return on Tuesday with the threat for some tornadoes on Tuesday. But for today, we are looking at the chance for just some embedded thunderstorms. The biggest risk would be some damaging winds. This is where the front is now. You can see extending from the upper Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. On the tail end here, you could see some thunder, or hear some thunder, see some lightning. And then on the northern side, we're seeing that cold air being pulled in. So we're seeing some snow in the upper Great Lakes, could amount to about 3 inches. In between, we're looking at scattered showers. So yes, we are tracking a few thunderstorms today, but we're not expecting the severe weather we saw the past few days. This is what it looks like. Some scattered rain showers moving towards the East Coast. So by later on tonight, we'll see that moving into the Northeast. Some isolated snow showers in the upper Great Lakes, again, amounting to about 3 inches. And then tomorrow, we have a new area of low pressure. That's going to bring the chance of storms more for the southern plains, a marginal risk for flash flooding. So we're going to see that rain heavy at times once again in Texas and also in Oklahoma. This will be tomorrow. So as we go throughout today, we have a marginal risk. That's the lowest on the scale of severe weather for some stronger storms in parts of Ohio, the western portions of Pennsylvania, down through parts of the Tennessee Valley into the Mississippi Valley as well. Winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour with any of these storms. Could see some hail. The tornado risk is very low, but it's not zero. So we're going to watch that as we go throughout the afternoon and evening hours. And then notice tomorrow it expands, right? It expands in intensity and in size here. So we're looking at anywhere from Wichita to Amarillo, Lubbock down to Midland. Where you see this yellow, this is where we could see likely spots. We're seeing some stronger storms, winds gusting over 60 miles per hour, and we could see an isolated tornado or two. Rainfall will be heavy in some spots where you see this legend here, orange and red coloring. That's going to correspond to where we're going to see the heavier amounts of rain, and that could lead to some flash flooding. So that's a big story for today. Sunny and seasonable throughout the Southwest. We are looking also at the chance for some rain and snow into the Intermountain West. Savannah?
All right, Michelle, a lot going on, especially over this past holiday weekend. Oh, my goodness. Michelle, thanks so much. We'll see you in a little bit. Sure. There's much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including how Catholics around the world are reacting to the death of Pope Francis. But first, after the break, another group chat snafu for Defense Chief Pete Hegseth. The sensitive info he reportedly shared with his wife and brother just 1 month after making headlines for a similar security incident. That is up next. Welcome back. There are new concerns about the possibility of national security secrets leaking out following the discovery of another unsecured group chat that was used to share details of U.S. military operations overseas. Two sources tell NBC News that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth used his personal phone to send information ahead of U.S. airstrikes in Yemen to a group chat on that same app that we've talked about here. It's called Signal. 13 people were in that chat, and get this, it included his wife and his brother. Hegseth and other top Trump national security officials were criticized. This was just a month ago for a similar incident. That time, you'll remember the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine. His name's Jeffrey Goldberg. He was accidentally included in another Signal group chat. Well, for more on this, let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez. Gabe, great to see you. Thanks for being with us. What are we learning about this group chat, and any warnings maybe that Secretary Hegseth was given about how to handle this kind of potentially sensitive information after what happened with Jeffrey Goldberg a couple months ago?
Hey there, Savannah. Good morning. Well, as you mentioned, Pete Hegseth now under growing scrutiny after this new group chat was revealed. And as you said, two sources with knowledge of the matter confirmed to NBC News that he did share that sensitive military information on that group chat, Signal group chat, with his wife as well as his brother and personal lawyer, both of whom do work at the Pentagon. Now, the New York Times, which first broke this story, reports that the information in question was flight schedules for U.S. military jets that were targeting Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. One source confirms that to NBC News. But as you said, Hegseth now under growing scrutiny and had received a lot of criticism over the last several weeks for sharing the sensitive military information on that first group chat, which we had heard with that Atlantic reporter being added to that chat, which was initially started by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Savannah.
Gabe, one of Pete Hegseth's former aides is speaking out about the environment at the Pentagon amid a recent purge, of some top officials there. What is he saying?
Yeah, former Pentagon Press Secretary John Olliott, a pretty remarkable op-ed in Politico magazine. He says that there was several top aides that were fired that posted on X denying some of the what had been said by other top Pentagon officials, saying that they had been slandered for leaking sensitive information to the press. Well, Olliott, in his op-ed, writing that after a terrible month, the Pentagon focuses no longer on war fighting, but on endless drama, concluding it is hard to see Hegseth remaining in his position much longer. Savannah.
Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer reacted to this news of this second group chat that had this sensitive information in it. This is what he said. I'll read some of it from X. He said, "We keep learning how Pete Hegseth put lives at risk, but Trump is still too weak to fire him. Pete Hegseth must be fired." What, Gabe, has been the reaction of the administration to this story and to sort of a second similar infraction?
Well, certainly, Savannah, Chuck Schumer not the only Democrat that is calling for Pete Hegseth his resignation. Now, the White House has put out a statement on social media saying that no classified information was shared. The Pentagon, meanwhile, writing that another day, another old story. So the administration, since the beginning of this incident, the first group chat several weeks ago, has insisted that no classified information, rather, was shared, that these weren't war plans. That's what Pete Hegseth has tried to argue. But President Trump, he's repeatedly stood by his defense secretary. Still, he has not commented directly so far on these latest developments, although we will probably, we are expected to hear more directly from him potentially later on today during the Easter egg roll here at the White House. Savannah.
Gabe, quickly before I let you go, I do want to do a little gear switch here. We're, of course, following news of the death of Pope Francis today. I want to talk to you, though, about the fact that Vice President J.D. Vance just met the Pope yesterday. It was on Easter Sunday. Have we heard any reaction from the Trump administration yet?
Well, the White House did post a statement on social media saying, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis." Now, as you said, Vice President J.D. Vance meeting with the pontiff yesterday on Easter Sunday at the Vatican, saying he'd been happy to see Pope Francis, who was obviously very ill. And he noted a homily that the Holy Father had given at the start of COVID. Now, as for President Trump, it's unclear when he last spoke with Pope Francis. The two met privately back in 2017. The pair exchanged gifts. They had disagreements publicly before, most notably on immigration. But again, the White House writing, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis." And once again, we are expected to hear from President Trump a little later on today as he hosts the Easter egg roll here at the White House. Savannah.
All right, Gabe Gutierrez, thank you for your reporting here. Well, the battle over immigration between the White House and the courts will continue this week. Shortly after midnight on Saturday, the Supreme Court ordered a temporary pause on the deportation of Venezuelan men to a prison in El Salvador. The Trump administration has invoked the Alien Enemies Act. It's an 18th century law to deport these immigrants that they allege are gang members. Now, the court did not grant or deny any application filed by lawyers for the detainees, but effectively just hit pause on the deportations. NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us with more on this. Julia, good morning. So as the legal fight played out over the weekend, NBC, we're going to show you here, actually obtained some exclusive video. This is of ICE buses filled with Venezuelans heading towards an airport in Texas, and then they turn around. Now, a lot has happened in the past few days. Here's that video right now. A lot has happened in the past few days. Can you walk us through how this all unfolded and what we know about what was happening with these particular buses?
Yeah, Savannah, I know that just looks like a slow bus rolling through a gate, but that is actually incredibly dramatic video, and let me tell you why. At this time, there was an ongoing court hearing in D.C. where Judge Boasberg asked the Justice Department, "Can you guarantee me there won't be any flights tonight under the Alien Enemies Act?" He needed to know whether or not he needed to put an emergency stay on the government to keep people from being deported to El Salvador, because the Supreme Court had earlier said they had to have due process before being deported. At that time the Justice Department said, no, there will be no flights tonight, and then they got on the phone after a 30-minute recess and told him, you know what, and we don't think there'll be any flights tomorrow either. At that time, our crew was right there in Texas, was able to gather this footage. So what you're seeing is that U-turn is likely because of what was happening in court, but we don't know that for sure. We don't know why they turned around. A senior DHS official did tell us that they were told to turn around. The question is, who told them that? Is it because they wanted to be able to comply with the Supreme Court orders once they were pressed by a lower court? There's a lot of questions, and we want to dig into that and figure out exactly what they were planning to do. Because if, in fact, they were planning to deport those people, as the men on the bus have told their lawyers, have told people in that facility, have told their spouses, if they were, in fact, going to be deported that night, as they were told that they would be, that would have been a violation of the Supreme Court saying they had to provide reasonable time for these people to appeal.
Julia, in an interview with ABC yesterday, border czar Tom Homan defended the Trump administration's use specifically of the Alien Enemies Act. I want to play first some of what he had to say.
I am confident that everything we've done is follow the laws within the constitutional constructs. Absolutely. President Trump invoked the authorities he had of the Alien Enemies Act, an act written and passed by Congress and signed by a president. We're using the laws on the books.
So this marks the second time the Trump administration's use of this particular law, the Alien Enemies Act, has landed before the Supreme Court. And I mentioned a moment ago, 18th century here. Remind us what this law is, what it means, and why the administration's use of it is such a hot topic of debate, and why they went that route in the first place.
That's right, Savannah. So this has only been used 3 times in U.S. history before this year, and that was the War of 1812, World War I, and World War II. And it was used so that people who were part of the enemies, whether that be the Nazi Party during World War II, of course, it was also used to justify Japanese internment camps during World War II, but so that they could immediately push people out of the country who they deemed to be enemies of the United States without going through the due process that the U.S. typically affords immigrants before they are deported. It was a shortcut around that. And Trump did that by invoking the Alien Enemies Act on March 15th and saying that the enemies of the United States now are the gangs MS-13 from El Salvador and Tren de Aragua from Venezuela. And so anyone that they deemed was a part of that gang could be deported. But there's a pretty famous quote now from a judge at a circuit level who's seen the Trump administration, seen the case from the Trump administration about the use of that act. And she said the Nazis got better treatment. In other words, the Nazis had 30 days to prove whether or not they were part of the Nazi Party before being deported from the United States. So in other words, if these people are indeed part of these classes, that's one thing, but they need due process. That's what the Supreme Court is saying in order to, before they can be deported. Also, Savannah, the Supreme Court has not yet weighed in on whether or not Trump can actually invoke the Alien Enemies Act during peacetime. It hasn't gotten to that level yet, in spite of the fact the Supreme Court has now had to weigh in on this twice. But it's something the Trump administration has been using as a quick tool, and they've been using it specifically to deport men, mainly Venezuelan men, some from El Salvador, to that supermax prison inside El Salvador.
And Julia, by the way, while it's been ending up in front of the Supreme Court, it's also dividing the justices themselves. Maybe not such a surprise, obviously, when it comes to certain cases, but we actually had this scathing dissent from Justice Samuel Alito calling the court's order legally questionable. Tell us more about that.
Yes, that's right. That came from Justice Alito, and it was also joined by Justice Thomas. Now, they're usually seen as the 2 most conservative on the bench. And what they were criticizing here was not necessarily that they should allow Trump to use the Alien Enemies Act, but they just don't agree that the Supreme Court should have weighed in the way that it did early Saturday morning. They think that this should have been left to the district level. Where all this started for the second time most recently was that the Northern District of Texas did not put a hold on Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act. So the Trump administration started bringing Venezuelan men from all over the country to the Northern District of Texas. That's where our cameras were. That's where those buses were. That's where they were trying to deport them from. And those justices are saying it should have been up to the Northern District of Texas or the Fifth Circuit, which oversees that district, before the Supreme Court weighed in. They didn't agree with the route that the plaintiffs took to get that emergency stay.
Julia Ainsley covering a lot for us this morning. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, our continuing coverage celebrating the life and legacy of Pope Francis. After the break, how Catholics around the world are mourning the pontiff, known for making genuine connections with followers from all walks of life. That is next on Morning News Now. Welcome back. We want to return to our top story, the death of Pope Francis. Mourners are gathering in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican this morning as millions of Catholics around the world wake up to the news of the Pope's death on Easter Monday. Tributes are pouring in from world leaders. That includes Vice President J.D. Vance, who was one of the last people to meet with the Pope for an exchange of Easter greetings yesterday. In a statement posted on X, Vance wrote, "My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him." We have NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lubanga joining us from Vatican City with more on how the world is reacting to this news. Claudio, good morning. I can only imagine what it's like there this morning on Easter Monday. And of course, with this news, this is such an important time of year to the Catholic community. What has the reaction been like? What has the mood been like in Rome, right there where you are, as people learn this news this morning?
Hi, Savannah. Well, the reaction is of shock. Obviously, these are pilgrims who are here for Easter, for the Easter celebrations, also for the Jubilee year, because this is Jubilee year, so there's a lot more people who are coming along here in St. Peter's Square, but they would have been here anyway. But now there are more and more people who are coming after his death was announced. The Vatican has called for pilgrims to gather in St. Peter's Square from about an hour ago to recite a rosary in memory of Pope Francis. The bells were ringing slowly here from St. Peter's Basilica for a long time. That was a moving moment. This morning, of course, we arrived here very early, and there were people who saw these cameras. They were asking us what was going on, and we had to break the news to them because obviously this is a national holiday and people were just going about their business. They weren't watching the news, and they were shocked, especially because a lot of these people were here today. They were also here yesterday, just 24 hours ago, during the Easter celebrations, where the Pope made a surprise appearance. The Pope almost looked like he was slowly recovering from his bilateral pneumonia. He wasn't scheduled to appear here during the celebrations, but he appeared all of a sudden on the main balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to wish everyone happy Easter, to bless the crowds. And also, he even took a tour of St. Peter on top of the Pope mobile to greet the crowds. He was also blessing the babies. This is the first time we've seen him doing that since he left hospital more than a month ago. So this really led us to believe that his health was improving. And then less than 24 hours later, the shocking news of his passing. Now, Savannah, the Vatican has said that later today at 8 o'clock in the evening here in Rome, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the American Cardinal Kevin Farrell will preside over the traditional rite of certification of the death of Pope Francis, and then the deposition of the body inside a zinc-lined wooden casket. Then he will be lying in state inside St. Peter's Square from probably tomorrow, allowing millions of pilgrims probably to line up to pay the last respects to Pope Francis. Then in 4 to 6 days there will be a funeral, and then in 15 to 20 days the conclave, where the cardinals are called to select, to choose the next Pope, Savannah.
We know that you'll be busy covering it all for us, Claudio, and really puts in perspective just sort of the shock. Even though he had been ill recently, he did seem like he had energy yesterday and obviously was out and among people. I just read a moment ago, Claudio, the reaction from Vice President J.D. Vance to this news. He had, of course, just met with him yesterday. How are other world leaders responding to the Pope's passing this morning?
Well, from the ones that I've seen so far, they've all paid the respect to a Pope who was a leader of peace. This is what Pope Francis was seen as around the world. He was a very well-respected world leader who was appreciated wherever he went around the world, who gave private audiences to everyone who came here to see him at the Vatican, even if he wasn't meant to. J.D. Vance is one of, this proves that, because popes don't usually meet with American vice presidents. The Pope also was recovering from his bilateral pneumonia, and still he found the time yesterday, just less than 24 hours ago, to briefly meet with J.D. Vance. And we had some video of that meeting. The Vatican said it was only a few minutes to wish each other a happy Easter. But, also the Pope said gave 3 3 chocolate Easter eggs to give to his children. So this was a Pope who was also always available to world leaders. He was always available to his flock. And that's why, and because this, and he was also the world leader of peace. He was always calling for peace. He reiterated that message yesterday during his Easter blessing. He was calling for peace around the world. He was calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for for Hamas to free the remaining hostages from there. He always had a good word. He always called for peace. He always called for the respect for migrants. And that's why so many world leaders are just lining up to pay their respects, at least in statements for now. We don't know how many will attend his funeral, but obviously it's early days, Savannah.
All right, Claudio, thank you very much. We know you'll be reporting on this throughout the day for us. Well, Pope Francis had a different approach to his position, taking humility to heart. From day one, he set a different standard, from carrying his own luggage to taking time to make genuine connections with his followers. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson has this look back at how Pope Francis fused leadership and a fatherly devotion to his flock.
In his first seconds as Pope, Jorge Bergoglio looked anything but ready for the spotlight.
Questa preghiera de voi su di me.
But in asking the crowd to pray for him, Pope Francis signaled what kind of pope he planned to be. A pastor to the church and the world, close to the people. His humility evident in small gestures, returning to his hotel to pay his bill after the conclave, carrying his own bag, and always reaching out to those the world often passes by. His first trip as Pope was to Lampedusa in July 2013, the Italian island that has been the first port of call for hundreds of thousands of migrants making the often deadly voyage across the Mediterranean in search of a better life.
E allora ho sentito che dovevo venire qui oggi a pregare.
This son of immigrants criticizing the global indifference of wealthier nations to the migrants' suffering and desperation.
He felt that it was more important to shine a light on the people who hadn't had so much light shone on them before.
Francis, it turned out, was ready to use his spotlight in unexpected ways. His next trip to Rio de Janeiro for the church's World Youth Day festival got off to a rough start when his car took a wrong turn and was mobbed by well-wishers. Ignoring his security details warnings, he rolled down the window and waved to the crowd. That connection with the faithful would become a hallmark of his pontificate, as would his plain-spoken manner.
Chi sono io per giudicarla?
On the papal plane leaving Rio, Pope Francis said, "Who am I to judge?" when asked about a gay priest. In Canada, asking for forgiveness of the indigenous people for the abuse Catholic clergy committed in residential schools. Francis grappled with the abuse issue throughout his papacy, and not always well. Initially believing Chile's cardinals that there was no scandal in that country. Survivor Juan Carlos Cruz helped change the Pope's mind.
He's listening, he's understanding, he goes to the source and understands the problem. So I give him credit for that.
But even more than his words, it was his actions that spoke volumes. Inviting refugees to join him on the altar in St. Peter's Square. Wearing a yellow ribbon on his cassock in South Korea to show solidarity with the families of the 300 young people lost in the Sewol ferry disaster. Then, in defiance of the South Korean government, getting down off the Pope-mobile to visit with the victim's father on a hunger strike.
Thank you!
Opening his arms wide to a young girl with Down syndrome in Washington, D.C., praying in a deserted St. Peter's Square as the pandemic swept the world.
Pope Francis has reminded us that true orthodoxy, true tradition, is caring for those in need, caring for those at the margins, at the peripheries, the poor, the migrant, all of those people who are often forgotten by the rest of society. He's a pastoral pope. He's an inclusive pope.
And a joyful one, whether trying to spin a basketball with the Harlem Globetrotters, wearing a miner's helmet, or sharing the stage with curious children. Children brought out his best, never more so than when he met a young boy on a parish visit in Rome. The boy's father had died, and he wanted to ask the Pope if his father, an atheist, was in heaven. But the boy was scared. Come and tell me in my ear, Francis says, and consoles him. God has a father's heart, he tells the boy. The same could be said of Pope Francis. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
Thank you for that look back, Ann. Well, coming up, stopping the copycats. After the break, why it might soon be a little tougher to access cheaper versions of popular weight loss drugs like Wegovy. The new FDA crackdown up next. We are back with a crackdown from the FDA on copycat weight loss drugs. The agency has ordered compounding pharmacies to stop making cheaper versions of drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound, saying that those name brand ones are no longer experiencing shortages. But this order has many Americans concerned that they won't be able to refill or afford their prescriptions. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel is here to explain what you need to know. Dr. Patel, great to have you on set.
Yes.
What a treat to see you in person. Walk us through which medications will be affected and just how big of a change this is.
Yeah, so this is a pretty big change. Could affect tens to even hundreds of thousands of people. The FDA has said the reason these compounded drugs could exist in the first place is because there were shortages reported by both manufacturers of Ozempic and Zepbound. That's Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. The FDA has kind of established that those shortages no longer exist, so we now need to move to ending the timeline for those compounded drugs, April 22nd and May 22nd. It does affect both Zepbound and Wegovy, so both of the big drugs have been affected. And where this kind of dictates what happens after May 22nd, we'll see, because I think many lawyers for these compounding pharmacies are working on a legal way to be able to sell these medications for, again, tens to even hundreds of thousands of people on them.
So just to be clear, is it the same medication?
So technically, it is the same medication. However, because of the lack of kind of national oversight of these pharmacies, there's really like state-by-state regulations, and there's some of these pharmacies literally just popped up overnight in order to give these drugs, that there can be a lot of variation in quality. Studies have shown that just because you're getting it at a compounding pharmacy, if it doesn't have a good reputation, doesn't have strong oversight, you might not be getting the actual chemical. But in general, yes, it's a chemical equivalent.
Well, I think this also begs the question, right? It's like, oh, so it can be made cheaper.
It does beg that question, and we even saw the manufacturers themselves, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, come out with cheaper versions. So it used to be $1,300 to $1,600 out of pocket per month to get these drugs. Now those companies are offering a direct option that's about $500 a month. So it is possible, yes, to make it cheaper. We also know it's cheaper in other countries.
So if somebody's taking this and they are receiving their prescription from a compounding pharmacy, let's say that this now means that they just simply can't afford something else. What do they need to know if they're going to be without this drug for at least a period of time unexpectedly?
Yeah, April 22nd, smaller pharmacies, May 22nd, larger pharmacies. I've been telling people who are in that exact same predicament, they will likely see, it's not as if they're going to gain all the weight back or see a reversal of the improvements in their health, but they are going to start to notice pretty quickly that hunger, usually the craving for food, comes back first, and then some of the other symptoms. But talk about it with a doctor. Be very honest about what's happening.
Oh, all right, Dr. Patel, important information for a lot of Americans. Thank you so much. Well, between social media and news stories, the images captured by doorbell cameras, they seem like they're everywhere now. Well, now more police departments are enlisting that technology in the fight against crime, but it's not without questions. Some departments are introducing new voluntary programs that allow officers to use residential doorbell cameras during investigations. Cities, including Washington, D.C., have seen steep drops in crime, but some advocates warn it could lead to privacy violations. NBC's Stephen Romo explains.
Across the country, crimes are being caught on doorbell and surveillance cameras every day.
You just took your package.
Now, more and more police departments are leaning into this technology, getting homeowners and businesses to share their video with local law enforcement. The goal, to create a network of cameras to fight crime.
We're seeing more frequent apprehensions and faster apprehensions of suspects.
In Washington, D.C., their Camera Connect program and Real-Time Crime Center launched early last year. In that time, they've seen a 35% reduction in violent crime, a 30-year low. And they say the tens of thousands of new camera registrations they've had so far will be an important tool to continue that trend.
This program allows for those that wish to provide information to us to remain anonymous, and it makes it a more of a comfortable interaction rather than having an officer knocking on your door.
Similar programs are in place in jurisdictions coast to coast. And while the rules can vary, it generally works like this. When homeowners register, they can join a list of available cameras that law enforcement can turn to in an investigation. Police can request video from them, and the homeowner can then choose whether to provide that video or not. Businesses that sign up can take it a step further. They can opt in and provide their live surveillance feeds, giving police departments access to their cameras in real time. And while police say they've seen success, privacy advocates have serious concerns about handing over this kind of access.
When you justify surveillance by saying that it's only going to be used against the most violent criminals, what you end up seeing is those technologies become slowly over time an everyday aspect of policing.
Many police departments emphasize these programs are voluntary and designed with privacy and transparency in mind.
We are not passively watching camera feed and watching people live their day-to-day lives.
New uses for the latest technology to help keep us safe. Stephen Romo, NBC News.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos joins us with more on this. Danny, good morning. So we heard there, these programs, they are voluntary.
Yep.
But what would you just advise someone to keep in mind before they sign themselves up to allow police access to their own front door doorbell camera?
Well, the issue isn't so much with the front door doorbell camera, because here's the thing. In the streets, in the public areas, we really don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. So while it's a scary thought that police could have eyes on your entire block, in reality, they could just post a car there and an actual human looking up and down your entire block 24 hours a day. This isn't that different. Where I think there are concerns is where that permission from one neighbor gives a view, say, into the window of another neighbor or even into your own home. Again, if you consent, that is a classic exception to the Fourth Amendment search and seizure requirements, which is why police love consent searches, because it bypasses the Constitution. But what about the issue where your doorbell camera happens to peer right into your neighbor's apartment or building or room or home across the street, right through their picture window? They do have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their home. And the Constitution is a little hazy on your expectation of privacy in a big picture window or a floor-to-ceiling window in your apartment building, depending on how you're behaving behind that window. So there are privacy concerns here, but not a lot.
Okay. Is there a legal route where someone could take action should they be the one across the street with a camera appearing in their window?
Well, that's an interesting issue, because as a defense attorney, we often file motions to suppress evidence that it was in violation of the Fourth Amendment, that it was an unreasonable invasion into our expectation of privacy. So now, what are these civilians who are signing up for these programs? Are they agents of the police? Or are the police just coming along and borrowing their video? I think the classic interpretation has been that regular civilians who give over their security cam footage are not agents of the police, so there's no Fourth Amendment violation. But as this proliferates, as it becomes ubiquitous, which I looked up, it means everywhere, then this may become an issue for privacy and the Constitution.
Do you see this leading to police departments being sued over something like that more frequently?
Not likely. Again, the situation where I think there's an issue is where you have a security camera that looks into and invades the privacy of your neighbor. But that would be a separate issue by itself. That is currently not allowed. I'm not allowed to use my Ring Cam to peeping Tom my neighbors. Peeping Tom is a peeping Tom, whether you're using technology or your bare eyes. So that remains the same. This is just another example of technology moving much faster than the law can catch up. But the general rule of thumb is, if we're talking about an area that you can use your own eyes to look down the street, and the police can too, then just having a camera there usually doesn't implicate the Fourth Amendment search and seizure concerns.
All right, Danny Savalas, thank you so much. We've got much more to come on Morning News Now right after this. Stay with us. Finally, this hour, how one 10-year-old set out to make a difference in his community to celebrate his birthday through 10 acts of kindness. NBC's Hallie Jackson has his story.
We're doing a beach cleanup for my 7th act of kindness. We're hosting a Tips for Change fundraiser. We're hosting a stuffed animal adoption fundraiser.
This is Max.
We reached our goal and got $1,000 more.
On a mission. From building a playhouse for a child battling cancer, to shooting hockey pucks, to raise money for the victims' families from the D.C. plane crash. Max Racer spent more than a year completing 10 acts of kindness for his 10th birthday, with mom Christina by his side.
What inspired you to do this?
I just think it's so important for somebody my age to do something like this. Sometimes in life you'll get older, look back and say, like, you know, I wish I should have done this, but I like to say, like, you should get like an early start on it.
There's been a lot of tears, a lot of happy tears. I've been so proud of him.
Each act as meaningful as the last, with community front and center.
It brought together a lot of people. All my friends and family want to come out and help me, and, you know, that really makes me happy that I've inspired people.
Inspiring others just like he was. That's Brian Chiliakos with Max, who did 30 acts of kindness for his 30th birthday.
Oh, Max, going on, man?
And Brian joined Max for his first act to make more than 200 sandwiches for a homeless shelter.
Good job.
Whether it's leading a beach cleanup, raising money for a dog rescue.
All donations benefit the Golden Gate Lab Rescue.
Max and Christina learning compassion is a reward in itself.
There was just a moment where he was pushing the cart, and he looked at me and he said, "Mommy, this feels really good." And we both just started crying. That's when we realized this is what life is all about.
What do you hope other people learn from what you did, Max?
I hope people learn that you can do anything you want at any age, and don't let anybody stop you, and follow your dreams. You don't obviously know the lives that you touched, but you know in your heart that you touched lives.
Hallie Jackson, NBC News.
Oh, my goodness, is there a sweeter boy? That was just amazing. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. A big morning, a lot of news. It continues right now. Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. Thank you for being with us on a Monday, and a big one. We're beginning this hour with breaking news. Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church and leader to more than 1 billion Catholics around the world, has passed away at the age of 88. The pontiff's death was announced earlier this morning by the Holy See. His death comes after spending weeks in a Rome hospital battling pneumonia. Just yesterday, on Easter Sunday, Pope Francis met with Vice President J.D. Vance. The vice president posted on X earlier this morning, saying in part, "My heart goes out to the millions of Christians all over the world who loved him." Francis began his papacy more than a decade ago, back in 2013, following the resignation of his predecessor, Pope Benedict XVI. He leaves behind a legacy as a transformational leader who made major strides in the Catholic Church's advocacy for the poor and embracing global diversity. That includes the appointment of women to leadership roles and also approving blessings for same-sex couples. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson takes a look back at the pontiff's life and what made him so beloved. Ann, good morning.
Hi, there is such sad news out of the Vatican, and of course it comes as a surprise to many since we had seen the Pope throughout Holy Week. But the Pope had been recovering from pneumonia and was weak in those appearances. The Vatican saying this morning that Francis taught us to live the values of the gospel, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized, as he had throughout his life. He was the people's Pope. Francis, reaching out, embracing, and always including the sick, the poor, and the forgotten. Moving the Catholic Church away from the culture wars and back to its original mission of love and mercy. Elected in March 2013 to lead a church tarnished by sexual abuse and financial scandals, few saw Francis as a transformative figure. But from his initial appearance on the balcony, it was clear this would be a different papacy.
Facciamo in silenzio questa preghiera de voi su di me.
Asking the people to pray for him and bowing to them in a moment of silence, the first in a gospel of gestures as well as words. Francis revived the papacy's bully pulpit and commanded a role in world affairs, speaking out against the invasion of Ukraine and its atrocities, brokering a thaw in U.S.-Cuba relations during the Obama administration, and bringing 3 Muslim families to Italy on the papal plane after a visit to a camp in Greece during the Syrian refugee crisis. His plain-spokenness ruffled some church officials, but endeared him to the people, declaring, "I am a sinner," accusing the Vatican bureaucracy he sought to reform of spiritual Alzheimer's, and saying, "Who am I to judge?"
Chi sono io per giudicarla?
When asked about a gay priest in his first in-flight press conference. Francis could be critical as well, calling couples who choose pets instead of children selfish. It was a dramatic shift in style from his predecessor, Benedict XVI, who lived just steps away. A dynamic so fascinating, Hollywood imagined it in the movie The Two Popes.
You have lifted a great burden from my shoulders. You placed in every one of mine.
Francis was born Jorge Mario Bergoglio to Italian immigrant parents who settled in Argentina. He studied to be a chemist, but was called to be a priest, rising through the ranks of the church to Cardinal of Buenos Aires, living simply, riding the subway, and becoming the bishop of the slums. He made his only trip to the United States as Pope, a history-making event, the first pontiff to address a joint meeting of Congress, urging lawmakers to apply the Golden Rule to those seeking a better life in the U.S., and to act on climate change, a call he made to the world in his encyclical on the environment, Laudato Si', urging better care for our common home and each other. Yet Francis's tenure could not escape the scourge of child sex abuse. Shocking revelations in the U.S. and around the world led Francis to toughen church laws against such abuse, to better protect children and vulnerable adults. And while we may always think of Francis surrounded by those seeking a blessing or a handshake, perhaps it is this image during the pandemic that is most striking. The Pope alone in a rainy St. Peter's Square, praying for a world forced into isolation by a virus. His gift for the image, the moment so unexpected from the reserved Argentinian, that many wondered if there was a public relations guru or campaign behind his papacy. There was not. It was all Francis, who lived what he preached.
The Pope will be buried sometime in the next 4 to 6 days. Those details are still to be determined. Back to you.
All right, Anne, thank you. Let's bring in NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga. He's in Vatican City. He has reaction to the news this morning. Claudio, good morning. First, just set the scene for us. How is it in St. Peter's, St. Peter's Square this morning?
The incredibly damaging.
Hey, Savannah, as you can see, the square is packed with pilgrims. I mean, many were here already before they got the news because this is, of course, Easter Monday. It is a national holiday, but many came here after they learned about the Pope's death to pay their last respects. Now, the Vatican at noon, it was about 2 hours ago, they called for people to come here, the pilgrims to come here to recite a rosary for Pope Francis, and many came. Also, the bells of St. Peter's Basilica were ringing for a long time, slowly. The bells of so many churches around Rome were also ringing. That was a very, very moving moment. Now, the Vatican has also announced that later today at 8 p.m., that's 2 p.m. Easter time, the Camerlengo of the Catholic Church, right now it is the American Cardinal Kevin Farrell, will preside over the rite of certification of death of Pope Francis and the deposition of the body inside the casket. Now, Pope Francis has simplified that rite. In the past, popes used to be placed into 3 different caskets. Pope Francis has simplified that. He's going to be placed into a simple zinc-lined wooden casket. Then he's going to be lying in state inside St. Peter's Square, St. Peter's Basilica, to allow pilgrims to pay their last respects. And we do expect very long lines, many hours waiting to do so, because he was so much loved around here and around the world. Then, as Anne was saying, in between 4 and 6 days from now, they'll hold a funeral here in St. Peter's Square, and then he will be buried in the Basilica of Saint Mary Major, not inside the Vatican, but in a basilica that is inside Rome, about 20 minutes drive from here. That's because Pope Francis had a particular devotion for that basilica, particular devotion for the Virgin Mary. He used to go there and pray in front of the icon of the Virgin Mary before and after every trip, for instance. So he's made it very clear he wanted to be buried there. And then in 15 to 20 days from now, the cardinals will hold, of course, the conclave, where they will need to select the next pope. Savannah?
And as you've mentioned, Claudio, the beginning of that all is kind of going to get underway later today. We understand now 8 p.m. local time, 2 p.m. Eastern. That will include the confirmation of his death and the placement of his body in a coffin, according to the Vatican. But Claudio, let's talk about this time of year, Easter. It's Easter Monday. You were there for Easter services yesterday, and the Pope did make an appearance. That was a surprise, and one that delighted so many people who had made this pilgrimage to be right there, to be at the Vatican, to be at St. Peter's Basilica on such an important day to the Catholic faith. We saw him riding through in his Pope-mobile, greeting many people. This is always such an important week for Catholics, but obviously it feels even more significant in the wake of today's news. How has the atmosphere in Vatican City changed throughout this Easter Monday? And tell us a little bit about what you saw of the Pope firsthand yesterday on his last day with us.
Savannah, well, so much has changed in 24 hours here. Just 24 hours ago, I was here with tens of thousands of pilgrims celebrating, of course, Easter, attending Easter Mass. The Pope was not expected to attend, as you said, but then he made this surprise appearance on the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica to wish everyone happy Easter, to give a blessing. He looked weak, as he's done for the past few months since he developed that bilateral pneumonia, but he appeared at least to have improved a little bit. He did not, for instance, wear those oxygen tubes that he had in his nose when he was discharged from hospital. So that led us to believe that he was doing a bit better. Also, he got into, as you mentioned, on the Pope-mobile to tour around among the ecstatic crowds. He was blessing children. He looked better. And then, of course, less than 24 hours later, the shocking news that the Pope has died. Of course, the atmosphere here has completely changed. People around here are still coming to terms with that news. And we expect a lot more people to come here to pay their last respects for the Pope. Savannah?
Claudio, also, we'll continue doing this all morning to just talk about his legacy. You have obviously covered the Pope and the Vatican extensively. I'd love to hear from you why you believe Pope Francis was such a unique figure in the Catholic community, and kind of what we're hearing from world leaders today, what those reactions tell us about his influence.
Well, Savannah, Anne reminded you that the Pope Francis was known as the People's Pope, and that's exactly what he was. It just came naturally to him from day one, where he appeared first on that balcony following the conclave in 2013. It made it very clear that he was this naturally charismatic Pope that got the attention and the love, and received the love from the people almost immediately. People went crazy here when he appeared on the balcony, and slowly, well, actually quickly rather than slowly, he showed that he didn't need to do much to get close to the people. He wanted to get close to the people. He started to show how humble this Pope was. He decided to renounce the luxury of sleeping inside the papal apartments in the Apostolic Palace. He decided to sleep in a simple room in a residence inside the Vatican. He paid his own bills. He started, wanting to be among the crowds, get out of Vatican walls and be among the crowds. So people started loving him for that. Then came the progressive Pope. This is a Pope who wanted to show openness. He said that he wanted the Church to get out of the Vatican and to the peripheries of the world, of society. He wanted to embrace minorities. He wanted to show that God loved everyone. He reminded you about the famous phrase, "Who am I to judge?" when he referred to that gay priest on the plane back from Brazil. I was on that plane, and that kind of phrase, I think, kind of summarizes who he was and how he led his papacy. Who was he to judge? He never judged anyone. He had his arms wide open for everyone who wanted to embrace the faith, embrace God, and people will remember him for that. So we'll see whether the cardinals will choose a pope who will continue or carry on the legacy of Pope Francis, or maybe they will choose someone a little more conservative. We'll have to wait about 20 days to find that out. So.
There is so much to cover over the next couple of weeks. We know you'll be there for us. Claudio, thank you very much. For more, let's bring in NBC News Vatican analyst and contributor Deborah Lubov. As you can see, she is also there in Vatican City. Deborah, thanks very much for joining us. So of course, I think the timing for so many people here is what's really been a shock and really kind of a poignant moment. It comes during such a holy time for Christians around the world. Easter Monday, we just saw him yesterday in his Pope Mobile greeting people who were there for the Easter holiday. Talk about the grief that believers and people in general are experiencing this morning, especially when it kind of comes as a surprise, given what we saw yesterday.
Yes, Savannah, certainly. Well, certainly there's a state of shock. I think many people were preparing themselves one way or another when he was in the hospital. But regardless, the medical updates, despite certain life-threatening moments, were improving. So even though we saw a frail Pope in these days, we saw him with less oxygen, we saw him doing better and back in his element to some extent, making appearances among the faithful, as we saw yesterday here behind me when he circled among the crowds. Certainly the people are distraught, but at the same time, I think they read into the fact that he was able to see the opening of the Jubilee year. He completed 12 years of his papacy, and he saw out all of Holy Week and Easter Sunday as very symbolic in a sense. And it's also interesting to remember that John Paul II, he had passed away about a week after Holy Week as well. So it sort of seems as though God is summoning his popes to him right after Easter Sunday passes. But I think that right now people are also feeling that Francis in some way is still with him because he waited until this very moment to go to his Heavenly Father.
Absolutely. Deborah, after Pope Francis blessed the crowd yesterday, an Archbishop revealed a papal address on his behalf that was delivered yesterday. And some of these messages, there's something really, I think, a point to really focus on, especially given that now we know it was the last address for the Pope. He really focused on some global concerns of the Vatican and also just global events, wars that we're seeing play out. Tell us a little bit about his message and how it was received.
Yeah, certainly the Pope's appeals for peace, for the conflicts around the world, was incredibly significant. That Urbi et Orbi address to the city of Rome and throughout the world was very incredible, recalling the conflict in the Holy Land, Ukraine, throughout Africa, Myanmar, etc. Also recalling that it was significant from the Pope's perspective, too, that the Christians had one common date of Easter this year. So it almost seemed, though, that even though Pope Francis wasn't pronouncing it himself, he had his collaborator do so, that this was really his sort of final appeal. Had the Holy Father lived today, there would have been a subsequent address. But we saw that even during his hospitalization, he was issuing these appeals every Sunday, calling for peace and working toward working toward peace efforts and initiatives. We saw even yesterday that he had met with the Vice President of the United States. And certainly we know that Pope Francis has called for dialogue and wants anything to be done to work toward peace. But we've seen those of us who have traveled with him, who follow him every day, that this is a theme to which he always returns and definitely will be at the forefront of his legacy, because even though Pope Francis focused on many other issues, he always, despite what he was battling health-wise, returned to these themes. Nothing got in his way, and he made every step to try to make a difference on these fronts.
Deborah Lubov, thank you so much for helping us this morning understand the life and legacy of Pope Francis, and also the sentiment that many mourners are feeling today, waking up to this news. We appreciate your time. We have NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake now joining us from the White House with more on Pope Francis' impact and what we're hearing from the White House. Garrett, good morning. So as we've talked about, Vice President J.D. Vance ended up being one of the last people to meet with the Pope. The two exchanged Easter greetings yesterday. How is the White House responding to the Pope's death this morning? What have we heard so far?
Yeah, certainly a meaningful visit for the vice president, who is a practicing Catholic, was able to bring his wife and children to meet with the Pope. He talked about it on social media after the fact, saying that although it was clear the Pope was unwell, that he was happy to have gotten a chance to meet him, and actually cited a specific homily that the Holy Father had given in the early days of COVID that was something particularly meaningful to him. You know, President Trump has met with this Pope as well back in 2017 when he first took office. He posted a short time ago on Truth Social saying simply, "Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him." At the time, after that meeting in 2017, the president had called it an honor of a lifetime to have met with the Pope. We may hear more from him on this subject when he speaks at the Easter egg roll, which is scheduled to begin later this morning.
And Garrett, actually, the two had been at odds with each other in the past. Just in February, the Pope criticized the Trump administration's deportation policies. They urged Catholics generally to reject anti-immigrant policies. And obviously, we saw that really be a personal point of focus for the Pope throughout his time. What more can you tell us about their past exchanges and the Pope's influence on American politics?
Yeah, look, even Pope Francis has not been immune from Donald Trump's wrath on social media. They've sort of exchanged words back and forth on that medium over time. The Pope, as you mentioned, has been outspoken that issues like climate change and taking care of immigrants and refugees are not progressive or liberal issues. The Pope believed them to be Christian issues and wanted them to be at the forefront of discussion around the world, especially in the United States, and wasn't shy about saying so. I think it's possible that the pontiff's feelings on that might have been more influential perhaps on the last president, Joe Biden, also a very deeply religious Catholic who embraced a lot more of those issues from the perspective of this Pope than has Donald Trump.
And Garrett, as the Vatican begins to plan for next steps here, those have been laid out this morning, obviously a lot to go on over the next 2-3 weeks. Has there been any word from the White House yet on whether or not President Trump will attend any services for the Pope?
We've not heard. This president has yet to take a foreign trip in his second term. Those are typically things that take, a month or more to do the advance work on. But for many of these foreign leader funerals that are so meticulously planned in advance, that timeline can be shortened. It would not surprise me if J.D. Vance finds himself back in Rome as the administration's representative here. But that'll be a target for today as this White House decides exactly how they want to honor Pope Francis.
All right, Garrett Haake, thank you very much for your reporting for us this morning. Well, we are going to switch gears here, get to another major story we have been following. That is the severe weather that's impacting millions of Americans, probably some of you at home. Over the weekend, golf ball-sized hail and at least one tornado caused widespread damage near Omaha, Nebraska. And more tornadoes touched down in West Texas near Fort Worth, causing major damage to several neighborhoods in the area. In Oklahoma, several businesses were destroyed by tornadoes and by rushing floodwaters. And Ada, Oklahoma, is where NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra is this morning. She has been covering the storms all weekend and was with us last hour. She joins us again with the latest here. Hi, Marissa. Good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. So here in Ada, this is an example of what we can see with tornado damage. You can see how much damage it cost right here with all of these trailers behind me. And what you're about to see in the story that we put together for you, we spoke to people on the other side of the camera. There's a building. It's this hotel that's been around for decades. And we were there as people were emotional, recalling their stories of survival. And we were there as city workers were condemning the building. We all had to evacuate. But guys, Savannah, this storm system, it's not just here. Over the weekend, this storm system spawned 18 tornado reports from Texas to Illinois.
Millions nationwide recovering this morning from severe Easter Sunday storms that swept across the country. A tornado in Ada, Oklahoma, leaving guests at this hotel scrambling for cover.
It was horrifying. It really was. But we're alive, so we're happy.
Another possible tornado spotted in Missouri Sunday, while 2 others touched down in Illinois and Arkansas. All of it just 24 hours after an estimated 16 tornadoes barreled through the region late Saturday night.
Oh, look at it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, my gosh.
I hope it was once in a lifetime because my heart's still racing.
A look from above showing piles of debris, what was left of a home ripped from its foundation. Keith Lofton says a tornado dragged his cousin from her bedroom.
She said that it sucked her from, I think, her bedroom into the kitchen. I'm just glad she's alive and made it through it.
Meanwhile, flash flooding in Oklahoma, killing 12-year-old River Bond and his mother, Erica Lott, after being swept away in the fast-moving waters.
Further east in Ada, the cleanup from the tornado just beginning.
I'm glad that I'm still alive.
Christopher Rogers showed us the mattress he tried to use to shield himself from the tornado, taking cover in a bathtub as the building shook violently.
What was going through your head?
It was either life or death, you know.
A difficult reality now setting in for those who lost homes and for Karen Ames and her coworkers who no longer have the job at the hotel that felt like a home.
It's devastating. It's totally devastating.
Well, our thanks to Marissa for that report. We've got more now on the severe storms and what else to expect this week with your morning news now. Weather meteorologist Michelle Grossman's here in studio with us. Hi, Michelle. A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on. Hi there, Savannah. The good news is for today, we're going to be a little bit quieter than where we have been the past few days. So that's the good news. Still, though, tracking this system, you can see it extending from the Great Lakes all the way to the Gulf Coast. We will see some showers and storms, but we're not going to see the intensity that we saw the past few days. Could see some really damaging winds, some hail. The tornado threat, though, is low today. That is good news. On the northern portion of this system, we're going to see some snow, even a few inches in the upper Great Lakes. Otherwise, we're relatively quiet across the country to start off this work week. That is good news after the past several days. We do have some rain and some mountain snow in the Intermountain West, sunny and seasonal throughout the Southwest, and also throughout portions of the South Central states. Then as we near Wednesday, we're looking at a new storm system tomorrow. So we're going to see a flooding threat continue into the southern plains tomorrow. That's going to extend into Wednesday as well. Where you see those darker colors, that's where we're expecting heavier rain. And yes, again, this could lead to some flash flooding, especially on Tuesday in Texas and Oklahoma. And then that's going to extend into the Carolinas as well. Spring warm throughout the New England area, the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, into the Mid-Atlantic, and plenty of sunshine on the West Coast from the Northwest into the Southwest and also the portions of the South Central states, with the exception of where that low pressure is going to sit up. By Friday, we're going to see that system moving off to the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, the Great Lakes, into the South Central states. So notice it's sort of lingering in that same spots. So really staying soggy there. We're going to watch some places that have already been so saturated with water, seeing more rain. And this is going to extend into portions of the Mid-Atlantic and also the Northeast as well, at least the interior portions. Southwest are going to remain quiet on Friday. Northwest showers, a new system moves on shore. That's going to bring mountain snow and also some valley rain. This is what we're looking at right now. There is that front stretching all the way from the Great Lakes, all the way down to the Gulf Coast states. You notice there's lightning on the tail end of this. That's where that warm weather is. So we're seeing some lightning, and we will see embedded thunderstorms today throughout the afternoon into the evening hours, although not expecting the intensity that we saw over the past few days. There's that snow that is falling. Again, could see a few inches in April in portions of the upper Great Lakes. This is what we're looking at in terms of the severe weather threat today. Where you see this green, that is a marginal risk. That's the lowest on the severe weather scale. Could see some winds gusting 60 miles per hour with any of these storms. That makes it severe. And then we're looking at isolated hail. Tornado risk is low with any of these storms. So we're talking portions of Ohio into western PA, and then parts of the Tennessee and Mississippi valleys. The intensity grows tomorrow. The threat grows tomorrow, where you see this yellow here. Now we're up to a slight risk. So Wichita, Amarillo, Lubbock, Midland. This is a likely spot of seeing some stronger storms, and that does include the chance for an isolated tornado or two. Again, could see some heavy rain. We're looking at those redder spots corresponding to the orange and red on the legend here. Those are the higher amounts of rain where we could see in portions of the southern plains into even parts of the Tennessee Valley. We are warm in so many places today, above average, even 15 degrees above average. Wichita, Sioux Falls, Rapid City above normal for this time of year. Notice into the mid-Atlantic, we are warm too today. Pittsburgh, 78 degrees. That is 12 degrees above normal for this time of year. New York City, you're going to get this warm tomorrow. Back to you.
Oh, wow. All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, you'll have much more on the death of Pope Francis throughout the morning. Of course, our top story. When we come back, we'll bring further coverage on the pontiff's passing. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. This morning, leaders from around the world are reacting to the death of Pope Francis. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, she posted this tribute on Facebook, calling him a great man. It reads in part, quote, "He asked the world to follow a road that does not destroy, but cultivates, repairs, preserves. His mastery and legacy will not be lost." NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons joins us with more on the global reaction here. Hi, Keir. What are we hearing from other world leaders this morning?
Well, we're just hearing on Truth Social from President Trump, and he has posted a message: "Rest in peace, Pope Francis. May God bless him and all who loved him." The Italian Prime Minister, as you mentioned, really a moving tribute from her, describing herself as a friend of his and saying his advice and his teachings are never diminished, even in times of trial and suffering. Many countries with large Catholic populations, their leaders first to issue condolences. The Polish president saying he was guided by humility and modesty. And then among the messages, the legacy of Pope Francis, which is to rise above division and hold out a message of compassion. So President Zelensky of Ukraine, of course, saying he prayed for peace in Ukraine and for Ukrainians, while President Putin of Russia saying he was a wise religious man and a statesman. So many messages, and I think really an indication that whilst there were things that Pope Francis did that were controversial in many corners of the world, on his passing, many people recognizing his ability to send a message that resonated with so many.
Keir, what about in Argentina, where he was born? Of course, he famously was the first Latin American pope. What's the reaction been like there?
Yeah, the Argentinian president sending a message saying the Republic of Argentina, a country with a long Catholic tradition and the birthplace of Pope Francis, deeply mourns the passing of His Holiness and sends its condolences to Pope Francis's family. Of course, 1 billion Catholics around the world all feel that they are his family, but perhaps no more so than Catholics in Argentina, where I think you'll see scenes of mourning in the coming days.
Keir, Pope Francis's influence, it went so far beyond the Vatican, and of course, it's not just world leaders. He took these memorable visits around the world as leader of the Catholic Church, where he met so many parishioners, so many believers. Tell us about some of the memorable ones.
Yeah, you know, he carried out 47 apostolic visits around the world, really to every part of the world. I think perhaps for many people, the most memorable will be just the moments that he interacted with children. He had a special friendship with many children, and he would allow them to come and give him a hug and talk very much kind of at their level. So that was one aspect. And I think, too, he was agnostic, if you like, about what religion dominated in any particular place. He wanted to go and spread his message everywhere. So across the Arab world, for example, many visits, and also to places that he loved very much, like South America. He didn't, in the end, visit Argentina. And I think that will be, of course, that was his birthplace, his home. And I think that will be noted among the many things that will be said about Pope Francis in the days and weeks ahead.
Keir Simmons, thank you very much for your reporting on this morning. Of course, our top story. Well, coming up, we have more on Pope Francis' impact on the world stage. When we come back, we will take a closer look at the pontiff's interventions into some of the biggest issues around the globe. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, from the moment he took office, Pope Francis signaled that he was a different kind of pope. He traveled to combat zones, openly met with people, and used his experiences as an immigrant to form the foundation of his policy at the Vatican. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson has more.
Diplomacy, as practiced by popes, is a uniquely personal endeavor. And Pope Francis made his story, a pontiff from, as he called it, the end of the earth, the cornerstone of Vatican foreign policy. Nowhere was this more apparent than the issue of migration, a topic he addressed in multiple countries. In 2016, he traveled to Ciudad Juarez on the U.S.-Mexico border to call for compassion and aid, praying for asylum seekers who died just yards from the United States. Saying those who sought to build only walls and not bridges were not Christian.
He has this in his gut. He is a product of immigration, his Italian forebears having gone to Argentina because they were poor. They didn't have enough to eat. It's as simple as that. So he has immigration in his blood, in his DNA.
What was his greatest asset on the world stage?
I think sincerity. He said what he felt and what he believed without taking too much consideration into the repercussions that it may or may not have on the political scale, on the political scene.
Francis also focused his attention on conflicts and issues the world often preferred to ignore, becoming the first pope to travel to an active combat zone, the Central African Republic's brutal civil war. Francis did not shy away from the dramatic gesture. At a meeting of rival South Sudanese leaders, he kissed their feet, imploring them to respect their ceasefire agreement. Reaching across religious divisions was a priority in the later years of Francis's papacy. Meeting in 2021 in Iraq with Shiite leader Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani. While visiting the city of Ur, the birthplace of the prophet Abraham, he forcefully denounced extremism. We believers cannot be silent when terrorism abuses religion, he said. No conflict seemed beyond help for Francis, not even that between Israel and Palestine. In 2014, visiting the separation wall, a symbol of Israeli oppression to the Palestinians. Later inviting then Israeli Prime Minister Shimon Peres and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to the Vatican to pray together. The October 7th terror attacks by Hamas against Israel and the resulting war in Gaza saw the Pope again trying to play a meaningful role to end the conflict, meeting with families of Israelis held hostage by Hamas and those of Palestinians killed in the bombing.
It's a balancing act for Pope Francis.
It is, but nobody wants any innocent civilians killed, whether they're Palestinian or whether they're Israeli. Pope Francis is about the faith of life and trying to help everyone.
But that balancing act came with a price. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Francis was dogged by accusations that he failed to sufficiently condemn Russia's actions in general and Vladimir Putin in particular, despite meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and referring to Ukraine as a martyred nation.
He's not a diplomat. He's a moral authority. And those two things, the diplomacy and the moral authority, can sometimes get him in trouble.
And in China, a 2018 agreement to allow the Chinese Communist Party to have a say in who can be appointed bishop for the country's beleaguered Catholic minority was deeply unpopular.
It seems to have been one of abandoning faithful Catholics in China in order to make deals with the People's Republic of China.
Pope Francis sought to hold the Vatican out as a place to negotiate peace. But like many who tried, he too found peace to be confoundingly elusive. Ann Thompson, NBC News.
Thanks to Ann for that. Well, St. Peter's Square in Vatican City has been flooded with mourners paying their respects this morning as Catholics across the world are waking up to the news of the Pope's death. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga has been covering the Easter holiday in Vatican City for us throughout the weekend, and he is there again this morning, and he joins us with reaction here. Claudio, good morning. So the way that you've been telling it this morning, some people were there in St. Peter's Square really because it was Easter Monday, because maybe they had seen the Pope yesterday or they had known that he had come out in his Pope-mobile, done these Easter greetings, and did not even realize yet. They had not heard the news that he had passed. Describe the scene for us there this morning.
Absolutely, Savannah. I mean, a lot of people were here when I arrived, literally an hour after the announcement of the Pope's death. They were already here because it is Easter Monday. It is a national holiday. So they were, and also a lot of pilgrims and Catholics, they saw what happened yesterday when the Pope made an appearance. He's been doing, actually, he's been making sudden appearances and surprise appearances for the past week. So they were hoping maybe to see him. So we had to break the news for them. They were asking why all these cameras were here. Of course, it was all very frantic. So we broke the news for them, and it was shocking because we went in 24 hours from a situation where Pope Francis made a sudden appearance where he kind of looked like he was slowly recovering from pneumonia to the announcement that he has died. Literally 24 hours ago, he was sitting on a wheelchair on that balcony in St. Peter's Basilica right behind me, wishing everyone happy Easter. Of course, he couldn't talk much, but, you know, he said a few words, and then he took a tour of St. Peter's Square on the Pope-mobile, and that was the first time he's done that since he's left hospital more than a month ago. So a lot of people thought that, you know, he was on the way to full recovery, and then, you know, they woke up to the shocking news. The news came at about 7:45 a.m. this morning, Rome time, and that's 1:45 overnight in Eastern time. So now slowly people are realizing what has happened, and they are trickling in. The Vatican has invited people to come here to recite a rosary for Pope Francis here at the Vatican. The bells of St. Peter's Basilica have been ringing slowly for a long time. The bells of the churches across Rome have been ringing. That was a very emotional and moving moment. The Vatican has now announced that later today at 8 o'clock in the evening, Rome time, that's 2 p.m. Eastern time, the Camerlengo of the Catholic Church, that's American Cardinal Kevin Farrell, will preside over the rite of confirmation or certification of death of Pope Francis then, and of the deposition of the body inside a casket. It's going to be a simple zinc-lined wooden casket. And then in the last hour, the Vatican spokesperson said that the Pope will then lie in state inside St. Peter's Basilica as early as Wednesday. That's when the pilgrims who want to give their last respects to Pope Francis will be able to do so for about 24 to 48 hours. We expect long lines of pilgrims because there's a lot of people around here and around the world who will want to pay their last respects to Pope Francis. It was a very much loved Pope around here, and I'm sure around the world as well, Savannah.
Absolutely. Claudia, we appreciate you jumping on this news as soon as it broke this morning and being with us throughout the morning. Your reporting's been fantastic. Thank you, Claudia. And our coverage of the passing of Pope Francis will continue throughout the morning here on Morning News Now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. New lawsuits are targeting nearly 24 major insurance companies following LA's devastating wildfires. Some homeowners now accuse the companies of colluding before the fires broke out. NBC's Ryan Chandler has the details.
2 new lawsuits stemming from the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, with plaintiffs alleging they were victims of an illegal scheme by California insurance companies to deny coverage to high-risk homeowners. The suits, which the plaintiffs' lawyers say they filed Friday, claim the state's largest insurance companies engaged in a nefarious conspiracy to eliminate competition before the fires broke out and force plaintiffs to obtain fire insurance from the state's insurer of last resort, a program known as the California Fair Plan.
They knew that they could force people by dropping insurance into that plan, which had higher premiums and far lower coverages.
I don't know how long I'm going to be out of my home for.
Alicia Calvin was dropped by her insurance company last July.
I called every company that I've heard of, and everyone said, no, you're in the fire zone. You don't qualify for insurance through us. So I was told by an agent, you have to get California Fair Plan.
She's not part of the lawsuit, but one of the thousands left drastically underinsured. Her home is standing, but unlivable. Contaminated, she says, by toxic ash, and the Fair Plan has left her in limbo.
I don't know when I can start the repair process. I don't know if my insurance is going to cover me any rental. They were supposed to pay me on April 7th, and they did not.
Our thanks to Ryan Chandler for that report. What NBC News has reached out to the major insurance companies named in the lawsuit, but so far, none have commented. Let's get you some money news. Credit card giant Capital One is about to get a whole lot bigger. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other headlines for us. Hey, Silvana, good morning.
Savannah, good Monday morning to you. Yeah, Capital One's $35 billion deal to buy Discover gets the green light. The Fed and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency signing off on that merger, the final regulators to do so. Now, the deal will create the nation's sixth largest bank, and it expands Capital One's credit card business and gives it a card network to compete with Visa and MasterCard. Capital One plans to keep the Discover brand on cards. China is warning other countries against making trade deals with the U.S. that are unfavorable to Beijing. Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea are among those who've begun negotiations with Washington after President Trump announced sweeping tariffs against most U.S. trading partners this month. China's Commerce Ministry saying the government will never accept those deals and would take countermeasures. China says it's open to talks with the White House, but no meetings have been announced. And Tesla is reportedly delaying the U.S. launch of an affordable, lower-cost Model Y. Tesla had promised a more affordable EV starting in the first half of this year, but Reuters says that could now be pushed to early next year. This less expensive EV has been widely anticipated by investors who hope it will attract a fresh group of customers.
All right, Silvana Henao. Yeah, thank you so much.
Got it.
Well, new advancements in artificial intelligence are now shaking up the way kids play sports. This AI-powered camera we're showing you creates personalized highlight reels to help young athletes improve their game. But as NBC News correspondent Sam Brock explains, not everyone's on board.
Jog on your way back. Go.
What might look like a typical youth soccer practice just outside New York City.
Go, boys.
Is getting a brand new pitch, cutting-edge AI technology that can pinpoint every kick, pass, or clear. Sean Sims brings this high-tech 20-foot-tall 3-in-1 camera to each game.
So the idea is it's so tall, you're getting a full picture of the entire field.
Full picture of the entire field along with the player-focused AI.
That is Sean's 7-year-old son, SJ, scoring a goal. The technology from a company called Trace identifies players based on their numbers and curates their every move.
What did you see?
So I was playing center mid.
Allowing for film review sessions like this, father and son watching back SJ's key plays on the big screen.
You think you did a good job there?
Sean says SJ enjoys watching himself, and the tech helps him develop as a player.
Do you feel like you learn stuff?
A lot of stuff.
Balancing constructive criticism with positive reinforcement.
Is the onus on you to sort of strike a balance between things that will be constructive, but also not showing him something that might make him feel bad about himself?
Yeah, definitely. You gotta play your cards the right way, if you will.
Out of bounds, throw in.
The tech for this age group at the elite FC Westchester Club is optional. It's up to parents whether they want to spend the $300 annually to use it. The club's president says this is just one tool in a bigger picture of player training.
Do you think some people are going to see this and say, wait a minute, you got 8- and 9-year-old kids in film sessions?
Well, I'm torn between that as well. I reluctantly, the ecosystem has forced us to start younger and younger to stay in the game. I'd prefer, to let them just have fun and kind of support their enjoyment in the sport without taking it too seriously at that young of an age.
Trace, one of several companies offering similar services, says it has more than 100,000 subscribers and more than 10,000 cameras in use. a community of coaches, parents, and players looking to strike a balance.
And you're a
playmaker.
There you go.
While still having some good old-fashioned fun. Sam Brock, NBC News, Purchase, New York.
Certainly a talker there. Well, coming up, as the leader of Catholics around the world, Pope Francis left a lasting impression. When we come back, we'll look at some of the places the pontiff visited, including some that may surprise you. Stay with us. We're back with another look at how Pope Francis left a lasting impression on those around him. While the pontiff lost much of his privacy when he was elected, he still found ways to get out once in a while, giving the local community some unforgettable memories in the process. Here's NBC News International correspondent Claudia Lavanga.
Traditionally, popes rarely leave the Vatican. They do so for religious rites or to travel on official visits. But Pope Francis was different. He sometimes sneaked out of Vatican walls for more earthly reasons. As an optician, Alessandro Spiezia was often summoned to the Vatican to prescribe eyeglasses for John Paul II and Pope Benedict XVI. But when Francis needed spectacles, he says he could not believe his eyes.
I was ready to go to the Vatican once again, but Pope Francis said he wanted to come to my shop instead. You can imagine my surprise. A pope in my 80-square-foot shop. A pope was never seen entering a shop. I thought he wouldn't come dressed in white, but he did. When he arrived, people thought that they were shooting a movie, that it was fiction. Then they realized that it was the Pope, and you can imagine what happened.
A memory of this moment printed even on a cleaning cloth for eyeglasses. The Pope didn't look beyond Vatican walls only to look after his eyes. He also took care of his taste buds.
Pope Francis came from Argentina, thousands of miles from the Vatican, but when he wanted a taste of home, he would send his assistants to this shop just a few blocks away.
As a fellow Argentinian and ice cream maker, Sebastian Padron knew how to cool down the Pope's homesickness.
Sempre dulce de leche, sempre, e poi piace al limone.
Dulce de leche, lemon, and mango. His three favorite flavors. But the one that must not be missing is dulce de leche, an Argentinian classic.
After eating his ice cream for 2 years, the Pope invited him and his family to the Vatican. A warm welcome to the Iceman. Francis was unlike any pope before him, but sometimes he would surprise even those who should know him best. Javier Martinez Brocal is a Vatican correspondent for a Spanish newspaper. He saw the Pope countless times. He just didn't expect to see him here.
I was walking here and I saw this Vatican Security Service and I thought, what are they doing here? I thought they were with the number 2 of the Vatican. But no, they were with Pope Francis. I saw a car, and then the Pope goes out to that car and enter in this record shop. And I said, okay, let's wait the Pope. And so I say him, hello, how are you? When he went out after 15 minutes, I said, Pope Francis, hello, hello. But he didn't listen to me or didn't want to listen to me. But I filmed everything with the cell phone, and the video went viral. And well, I sent the Pope a letter saying, I'm so sorry, I think it maybe disturbed you because of your privacy. And he answered me with a letter, and he told me, good for you, because you caught me, and I miss him very much walking in the street in Rome.
The question the Pope didn't answer is, what record did he take away with him? No, not this one.
He gave me maybe an idea of what was the record that he took with him. It was Mozart.
Whatever the record, the Pope's habit to get out of the Vatican and walk into shops in Rome is in tune with his down-to-earth personality and his music to the ear of those who loved him and miss him.
Our thanks to Claudio. What an amazing look at just an incredible man. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News. Now, stay with us, though. Our coverage of the death of Pope Francis continues all day right here on NBC News Now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.